Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
With Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
Like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul has brought in Shakur Stevenson to spar ahead of his fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, revealing that Stevenson himself offered to join the camp. Paul explained that his team has assembled a group of skilled southpaws, fighters smaller than him but experienced enough to provide the right looks, and believes training with Stevenson and the others will sharpen his game for the challenge ahead.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some analysts have questioned the sudden link between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, calling it unusual and even suspicious. They point out that Stevenson seems to have taken on sparring duties much like Jaron Boots Ennis did when he worked with Canelo Alvarez ahead of the Terence Crawford fight. The difference, however, is that Boots already had family connections with Canelo, making their arrangement more understandable. In contrast, Stevenson has no prior relationship or shared background with Paul, leading some to believe financial incentives may have been the driving factor. This has sparked debate over whether Stevenson's decision is motivated more by business than by boxing, highlighting the unexpected nature of the partnership.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson has addressed his view on the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, saying that if he were in Tank's shoes, he would see it from two angles. From a business perspective, the matchup makes sense due to the money and attention it could generate. But as a fighter, Stevenson admitted he personally wouldn't take that kind of bout. His comments highlight the contrast between treating boxing as a business move versus approaching it as pure competition. While some critics question his decision to spar with Paul, Stevenson openly acknowledges that financial factors play a role, reflecting how modern boxing often blurs the line between sporting credibility and entertainment.
So can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't going to hate on the decision, but as a man
your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
Fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
At the official press conference, tensions ran high when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis faced off and ended up shoving each other, instantly drawing reactions from fans and media. Many analysts, however, see the clash as more staged than spontaneous, part of the entertainment strategy to generate buzz. In modern boxing, these heated moments are often crafted to go viral and boost pay-per-view sales. The scuffle between Jake and Tank adds to the storyline, pitting size and power against speed and skill, while ensuring the fight appeals not just to hardcore fans but also to casual viewers intrigued by the spectacle.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes from that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit ton of money.
Despite the entertainment-driven buildup, boxing insiders emphasize that Gervonta Davis is taking this fight very seriously. Analysts point to his focused body language and intense preparation as proof that Tank is locked in and determined. The stakes are bigger than they appear. Defeating Jake Paul would not only earn Davis a massive payday but also elevate his mainstream profile. Experts caution that Paul cannot afford to underestimate Tank the way he might have brushed off older names like Mike Tyson in promotional talks. Unlike exhibition fighters, Davis is in his prime and feared for his ferocity in the ring. If Paul treats this matchup lightly, it could end in disaster. Davis's approach to training reflects his awareness of both the financial rewards and the reputational risks of losing to a YouTuber turned boxer.